Why do we feel like we're falling when we sleep? While our bodies prepared to fall into a deep sleep state, we'll suddenly have the feeling of missing a step or falling freely from a height. Then the body jerks. Actually, this is a normal physiological manifestation, called physiological muscle twitches. Often happens when people are tired or anxious. Caused by insufficient neuronal inhibition. Leads to increased excitability of motor neurons. And then self-generated abnormal discharges. Causes the muscles to automatically twitch. Why did the baby cry but not smile when he was born? Turns out, when the fetus is in the mother's womb, its lungs have no air, just a thick mixture. Until birth, the ribcage gradually expands. Then the lungs will also open. When the fetus takes its first breath of air, air enters the lungs through the larynx, causes the larynx to vibrate and make a crying-like sound. If the fetus does not cry at birth, it will be very dangerous. So the cry represents the baby's well-being and peace. When the elevator lost control and fell, can humans escape death by jumping up the moment they hit the ground? Theoretically, if a human jumps up when it falls to the ground, it is true that it can be mitigated somewhat. But the falling speed of elevators is extremely fast, so people often don't react in time. Moreover, man is in a state of free fall. There's no pop-up point, so it's impossible to jump on. Even if you can jump, you can't even land at the same time as the elevator. So this method doesn't work. Where does the runny nose come from? Nasal discharge is caused by the nasal cavity and its mucous membranes, continuously produced for 24 hours. Normally, each person has to handle 1,000 milliliters of nasal discharge every day, the equivalent of 2 pitchers of water. You can't feel it, mainly due to this nasal discharge, partly evaporated. Some of it comes out, but most of it is swallowed by us. Why do we hear our voice different from what others hear? Turns out, the sounds we hear ourselves are different from other people, mainly because the transmission lines are not the same. We hear our voices, which are transmitted from the bones to the ears. Why in a moment can the thermometer measure our body temperature? Turns out, when the temperature of the object is higher than 0 degrees, it will automatically fire infrared rays out. Furthermore, the higher the temperature of the object, energy contained in infrared light will be higher. So when we use the thermometer to scan places such as forehead, palm, the sensor in the thermometer will receive infrared rays emitted from the body. Chips will be instantly calculate values corresponding temperature. Why is it necessary to use arsenic when restoring the Great Wall? It turns out that, once restored, the Great Wall must use a material called glutinous rice mortar, a mixture of lime and glutinous rice flour. It is made from glutinous rice flour and grass thatch. This substance is stronger than cement mortar, but it is easy to attract insects. So to keep the worms from breaking down the wall, the ancients smeared arsenic on the surface of the wall of the Great Wall.